Good morning, Practical Rebels. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, and we have another round of Taking the War Out of Our Words, The Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication by Sharon Ellison. I was surprised the book popped up 2 days in a row, but as I was reading the passage, I can see why it came up. So we're going to tackle another run at this. And there were some comments yesterday. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Good morning to whomever else has popped on. Welcome, welcome. Everybody starts flooding in because I'm like 5 minutes later than usual. But I wanted to line this up. So good morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. I wanted to line this up so that I was ready to go for all of you. So good morning, Peggy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad everybody is here. This is good. So let's just rub our hands together. Let's energize our hands today. And if there's some part of your body, just kind of do a body scan while you're rubbing your hands together from head to toe. Are there any areas that are sore, stiff, tired, whatever? And then I want you to put those hands there. My shoulders are, because I got quite the shoulder workout this weekend. They made us run in place. My arms are whipping back and forth like maniacs. My shoulders are going, what are you doing? We haven't done this stuff since tennis. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for the sunshine. Still dark as heck here. Dark as heck. So, yeah, so just put those hands there, sending that healing energy into that area of your body. Then rub the hands together again. And now aim them out. Good morning, Linda. We're sending energy out to someone else that you know is hurting. Whether it's physically, they got an illness. Good morning, Lucy. We're just sending energy out to someone we know is struggling in some way. And the cool thing about this energy is if they choose not to take it, because we all are sovereign, we get to decide, if they choose not to take it, it'll go on to somewhere else that it can be of use. So never feel like sending out healing energy is a waste. It's always going to be utilized somewhere. All right, cool. So let's get started. Taking the War Out of Our Words, The Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication. And we had just finished up chapter 10. Excuse me, frog today. It's windy out there. Holy buckets. I blew around the school. I got to tell you a funny story. TJ's a trauma dog. He is a 75-pound dog. He is a force to be reckoned with, right? There was a paper or plastic bag blowing across the schoolyard. He damn near knocked me over trying to get away from it. It scared him. Like, you poor guy. So I had him be brave, and I had him walk around it. He conquered it. We were good. On we went. Poor dude. So, chapter 11 is formats for making non-defensive predictions. Now, we just did the chapter on non-defensive predictions and ways to, yes, TJ the trauma dog. He's conquering plastic bags today. We did the chapter on describing non-defensive predictions. So here she's talking about how do we set this up? What's the format for this? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview first, and then we'll do just the first part. So we want to talk about our own consequences for setting these sorts of boundaries with people. There we go. And of course, it kind of messed up the wireless. Honestly, I'll call her back. Anyway, preparing to make a prediction. We need to determine what the problem is in the interaction as specifically as possible. What is it that we're objecting to? Okay? That's the piece we're going to do today. Then we need to determine what needs we want to have met. It's one thing to tell them what's not working. It's another thing to tell them what we need. Okay? Identifying the core issue. Determining each person's motive in maintaining the current situation. If someone is vested in it staying the way it is, it's going to make the correction, if you want to call it that, more difficult. Oh, it looks like it booted a bunch of you guys off also. I hope not. Anywho, we'll pop back on if you did get kicked off. We'll see what we can do here. Selecting the consequences. And this one I think is really important. I've worked with a bazillion parents over the course of 35 years of psychotherapy and coaching. I'm back. Yes, I'm back. I hope all of you guys are back on also. I don't know if this is going to make it 2 videos or not. We'll see what happens once I'm done. Anyway, I can't tell you the number of parents who really picked poorly in terms of their consequences. Things that they didn't want to do. Why trot out a consequence if you're not going to want to do it either? Make sure you pick a consequence that you can actually keep up with. Just keep, all right? So there's a huge chunk on that we'll do. Talks about the characteristics of an effective prediction. Or commitment to it. Again, don't make it if you're not going to commit to it, right? So, consciously committing to what we've agreed to. How do we implement it? We got to put it into practice. So there's a whole lot of pieces that we're going to be doing with this. But today we're going to be focusing on preparing to make the prediction, all right? So, formats for making non-defensive predictions. Let's just take a breath. Let it go. Oh, someone else popped back on. All right, we're getting some of you back. Breath. Let it go. That is the weirdest thing. I think that was directly related to not accepting that phone call. Weird. Good morning back. Good morning back, Deb. Glad you're here. So hopefully the others can jump back on. But if not, you can always watch it after the fact, which I know isn't as good as being able to do it live, but sometimes technology fails us, and we just have to forge ahead. I've got a little card here. I'll show you. Move ahead anyway. Move ahead anyway. All right. So here's one of the stories, and it's back to Sandra and Jake. Jake is the contractor. Sandra's his wife. She ends up doing his books. He doesn't turn in receipts. He writes checks out of multiple checkbooks. Blah, blah, blah. So when Sandra predicted that she wouldn't take care of Jake's financial blunders if he continued to write checks she didn't know about, she wanted to spare herself the embarrassment of dealing with the bank. She felt particular chagrin because she was a professional bookkeeper married to the owner of the company. I could see how that would make her feel kind of yuck. Good morning, Susan. Glad you are here. Uh-oh. Did it kick me off again? It still says I'm live, so I don't know. We're having technological issues. It is windy. It is windy, very windy. So maybe it's telling me I'm live, so I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully we got it. Yet making a prediction for another person, particularly when we prescribe consequences that we will initiate, can feel like an overwhelming responsibility. Glad you're back. Glad you're back. I'm not sure what the scoop is. It is very windy here, so I'm not sure. It's not telling me I've lost my connection, though, again. It just did that the once. It still tells me I'm live, so I'm not sure what the scoop is. We'll see what it looks like after we're done. It might be a hot mess. So, Sandra's prediction opened the door to several possible consequences that could have a major impact on their marriage. Jake might hire a bookkeeper and incur an additional but unnecessary cost to his business. In that case, Sandra might lose whatever control she had over the finances, which might or might not please her. Yes, hopefully it's a perfect replay. We will see. Setting an intention, right? We are powerful beings. Let's see what we can create. Or if Jake did nothing different, he might seriously jeopardize his financial standing and his business's reputation. Sandra was aware that increased conflict could be the final blow to their marriage that caused a divorce. At the same time, if she did nothing, she would continue to deal with increasingly intolerable stress. And she's struggling with, this is going to make me look bad. I'm a professional bookkeeper. He keeps bouncing checks. That doesn't look good. The kind of prediction Sandra finally used was limit setting. When we make a prediction to set a limit or create a boundary, we predict specifically how we will respond to various choices the other person might make. Limit setting is the most common form of prediction. Okay? I'm still seeing your comments though, Peggy. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't be working. Is it frozen? Is that what you're seeing? Because the comments are still rolling and I'm seeing 4 of you here. So I don't know exactly what's happening. But again, we'll see what it looks like once we're done. Technology. All right. So the first kind of prediction is that setting of a boundary, setting a limit. The second kind of prediction is called a challenge choice. Challenge choice. Okay, Cindy says she's seeing me. All right. Mel says she's not. Okay, thank you. Yes, watch the replay. I'm sorry, you guys. Technology, technology, technology. And it must mean my grid is pretty fragile here. That's not a good thing. Okay, so challenge choice. In this case, we predict for someone what kind of consequences we believe will result if the person's life if a particular choice is made. This challenges the person to consider the choices carefully. However, we don't do anything to cause the specific consequences. So that might be saying something like, if you choose to keep writing checks, thank you, Carolyn. If you choose to keep writing checks on your account and not letting me know about them, and you're bouncing checks, I'm going to predict for you that when you go to the bank for a loan to grow your business, they may not consider you. So that's not her. That's not a consequence she's going to put into effect. So maybe it would be Corey who's talking to her daughter, Beth. If you go out joyriding with your friends, the police could pull you over and you could get a ticket. Who's ever driving could get a ticket. Again, she's not implementing the consequence, but she's predicting what kind of consequences she sees coming. If you keep allowing your grades to be poor, you may not get into the college that you want to get into. That kind of stuff. Okay, limit setting, my consequences. It's important that we carefully consider any limit-setting prediction we are going to make because its ramifications may be far-reaching. Again, this was the thing about the parents. If you don't do X, I'm going to take away the car. However, taking away the car means that child is no longer driving all the other children where they need to go, and so now you're going to have to pick that back up. Do you really want to pick that one as your consequence? All right? We must be clear that we can live with the consequences. This chapter will present 3 new facets in using the tool. Evaluating the needs and core issues we want to address with a prediction, discerning how to create a specific prediction, and effectively following through on the prediction. And that last one is huge. I don't care if you make a not so great prediction. As long as you follow through on it, you're going to be golden. Okay, preparing to make a prediction. Advanced preparation before making a prediction can help you to follow through successfully. First part is determining the problems in an interaction. Many of the problems we encounter involve recurring patterns in relationships. Following 3 steps can help you decide what consequences to predict. So here are your 3. And again, know that the purpose for these 3 is to help you figure out what is going to be a good consequence. Number 1. Determine the specific parts of the interaction that are causing a problem. 2, based on that, decide what you need to change in order to meet your needs in that situation. TJ, that bag is back. Yep, must be blowing around out there. I don't know. What a turkey. 3, consider how this incident fits into the recurring pattern to figure out how your prediction can influence the overall relationship. So let me run back through those 3 quickly. Determine the specific parts of the interaction that are causing a problem. Based on that, decide what you need to have change in order to meet your needs in that situation. And 3, consider how this incident fits into the recurring pattern to figure out how your prediction can influence the overall relationship and that pattern. When you are examining the recurring problem in a typical interaction, it is helpful to identify how you and the other person are each contributing to the conflict. Because this ain't a one-way street here, people. It's always about how each of us chooses to interact. Yep. Yes, definitely we want to consider how it affects us. Because we're not going to follow through if we've set up something that doesn't help us, that makes our life more complicated. Like if she had said, if you don't give me the checkbooks, I'm going to go rummage through your truck and find the checkbooks. And no, she's making more work for herself. Why would she want to do that? That would not be a great prediction. All right. If your partner continually tells you what routes to take when you are driving, you could ask yourself, what are the aspects of this that bother me? You might decide that you don't like being given directions you haven't asked for, told which route to take when you know which one you prefer, told not to take a certain route because it might take longer, given orders, spoken to in a harsh tone of voice. So there's 5 different aspects of this that she doesn't like when her partner's telling her backseat driving, basically. Okay? This list is very specific. It even distinguishes between being given orders from being spoken to in a harsh tone. So you'd take some time. You'd sit with a piece of paper. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. It looks like 5 of you have found your way back. Sorry. Yeah. So you might want to do this. Write down what the issue is. So I'm just going to pick one. Kids leaving all their book bags by the back door. That's the issue. What do I not like about that? I can't get in the door with all the groceries I'm carrying. Sometimes things get left then in the backpacks that needed to be addressed. It feels disrespectful of me and our house. You list all the things that particular behavior leads to result. Why you don't like it. Why you don't like it. Make as long a list as you put on everything. Put on things that make you even feel petty. Put it all on there. The next step is to ask yourself, what are the various reactions I have to this situation? Your list might include the following responses. I sometimes give in and go the route he wants to go to keep the peace. I sometimes give in and get stony silent. I sometimes give orders back. Don't boss me around. I sometimes argue about which route is shorter. I sometimes take one route going and another route coming back and time them to prove there's not much difference. Any of you ever done that? I sometimes just take the route I want. I sometimes stay angry for at least an hour. So those are the 2 steps we're just going to address today, where you lay out the problem. You could just take a piece of paper and do this. What's the problem? What do I not like about it? List all the things you don't like about it. And what are my reactions when this happens? What are the ways I contribute to the conflict? I get stony silent. I yell back. I get, good morning, Joe Bell. Glad you're here. I get passive aggressive. I'll drive more slowly just to piss him off. All that kind of stuff that we do when we have one of these circumstances. Okay? So I'm going to leave this kind of like a cliffhanger. Remember on TV when they used to do that? I used to hate that. So it would be a series, and at the end, who shot JR? At the end, they'd leave something hanging, a cliffhanger, and they're like, oh, damn, now I got to come back and watch more because I need to know what happens. All right? So that's our cliffhanger. We've got it started. We've laid out what the problem is. We've laid out what are the aspects of it that we don't like. We've laid out what are our responses to it, passive aggressive and all. And then we'll see where we go from there. So if you want to do one or more than one, take a piece of paper and write those pieces out. And then you'll have them ready for the next time we end up with the book. Maybe the book will be what we muscle test for tomorrow that we do. Or maybe we'll end up with a card instead. We'll see. But I just think this is going to be so freaking fabulous in terms of helping us all turn some relationships around. And not just an intimate relationship, but with our kids, with our coworkers, with our boss, with Spirit. Any of you ever yell at Spirit? Get passive aggressive with Spirit? Welcome to being human. So have an awesome Tuesday. I'm about to go jump on with my coffee group, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Remember your cape.